Hello, I'm Janet Morana, the Executive Director of Priests for Life. Well, we're still quarantined at home, aren't we? Boy, oh boy. It's another week of this, right? But we're doing okay, and hopefully you've been tuning in to endabortion.tv at 10 a.m., where Father Pavone has had Mass for us every day. And of course, 3 o'clock, right before my segment, we have the Rosary and the Divine Mercy Chaplet. And then just in case you missed the Mass this morning, you can tune back into endabortion.tv at 6 p.m. We repeat the Mass for you. Then at 7 o'clock, we do a Holy Hour. At 8 o'clock, I come back on, and at 8:30, the Catholic View for Women. So we're trying to help out to give you a little extra programming. And also in my half hour that I come to you, I try to bring you pro-life news, information. I've been showing some of our old Gospel of Life shows, some powerful interviews. We're going to continue to do that. I'm going to be talking about projects as we go forward. And, we're going to use this time together that a lot of people are kind of stuck at home. And we could be doing more to bring an end to abortion and to heal those who've been in touch, who've been touched by abortion. And we know so many people are hurting. We know that because of our ministry with Rachel's Vineyard and, of course, Silent No More, which I'm the co-founder of with Georgette Forney of Anglicans for Life. Silent No More takes the voices of those been hurt by abortion after gone through healing and speak publicly. Well, at Priests for Life, as you know, Father Pavone is our national director. I'm the executive director, but we have a whole pastoral team. We have Father Dennis Wild, who goes around when, of course, the quarantine is lifted. He'll be back visiting parishes and also giving concerts. We have Dr. Alveda King, the niece of Martin Luther King Jr., and Alveda heads up our civil rights for the unborn. We have Teresa Burke and Kevin Burke, both founders of Rachel's Vineyard, the largest ministry of healing after abortion, both here in the United States and all over the world. And those retreats, while they cannot happen right now during the quarantine, you can go to abortionforgiveness.com and just put in your zip code. You can see where's the nearest retreat site to you. And the contact information is there for the people who run the retreats. And every retreat team has a psychologist, a counselor, certified counselor connected with that team. So if you know someone who's hurting, especially now that you're alone and isolated, some people at home, we want to be able to still reach out and help you. So again, abortionforgiveness.com, put your zip code in. You'll see how to reach those people. And of course, we do international work at the UN. Of course, that's kind of been slowing down right now, but we have Marie Smith heading up the Parliamentary Network of Critical Issues. If you go to our Priests for Life website, right at the top banner, it's a beautiful display of all these ministries. Well, let me not forget the youth. We have our youth ministry. And our head of our youth ministry is none other than Bryan Kemper. And he is a great asset to our ministry. And I'm going to just read to you Bryan's bio. It's a little extensive, but I think it's important to get to know Bryan a little bit better. So Bryan is the founder and president of Stand True Ministries, a Christ-centered pro-life group determined to awaken the youth of this country and share the message of life and of the gospel of Christ. In 1987, Bryan started his work in the Christian music industry. He was determined to be a rock star, to stand on a stage and share his testimony between songs. But God had other plans, and in 1993, Bryan combined his passion for music and pro-life into one organization called Rock for Life. Since then, Bryan has stood on many stages and shared his testimony with a variety of audiences, both here in the States and internationally. A passionate and compelling orator, he has spoken at high schools and universities around the world, including Harvard, Princeton, Notre Dame, Queen's University in Northern Ireland, Cardiff University in Wales, and many, many more. He has taken the pro-life message around the world to countries like Ireland, Australia, Scotland, Austria, and also many more. In the past, he was a regular guest on the television show Publicly Incorrect with Bill Maher and co-hosted his own call-in cable show in Portland, Oregon. Bryan has been featured on MTV, radio shows, newspapers, and magazines, including the cover of New York Times and a 6-page layout in Swing Generation. He has also been featured in 3 documentary movies. Aside from his speaking, Bryan is also an author. Bryan's first book, Social Justice Begins in the Womb, was released in January of 2010 by Clay Bridges Publishing. His articles have appeared in many magazines and pro-life publications. He also used to be somewhat of a beat poet in a group called Poetic Justice. His poems and songs are mostly centered on the issue of pro-life, and like everything else he does, full of passion. Bryan has spent years reaching out to youth and encouraging this generation to get involved. And now he continues that outreach with Stand True Ministries, which is an affiliate organization of Priests for Life. Stand True Ministries believes the only way to stop abortion is to call out to Jesus and share his love with the nation. It is an organization that asks of young people, will you stand? Bryan has certainly chosen to, and he can only hope and pray that others will too. So we're delighted, of course, to have Bryan heading up our youth outreach. And, every year at the March for Life, if you've come to the March for Life, the day before the March for Life, there's a March for Life Expo. Lately, they've been having it at the Renaissance Hotel. And in addition to the beautiful expo of all the exhibitors, of which Priests for Life is one, they have a great convention. And one aspect of that convention is a youth rally. Well, for the past few years, they have asked Bryan to MC that youth rally. And of course, we took a videotape of that to give you a little taste of what is it like and a little bit of Bryan's testimony. So let's watch now a clip from the March for Life Youth Rally with Bryan Kemper.
It's all good.
Thank you so much to Bryan.
Thank you. Hey, who wants some free stuff? Who wants some free stuff? All right, hold on. Who wants a March for Life beanie? Go ahead, go, Jameson. All right, hold on. Okay, go over that side. All right, hold on. This one says, I am the generation that will abolish abortion. All right, very good, yeah. Hold on. All right, guys. Here, pass these back. All right, everybody have a seat, Give it up for my son, Jameson. Yeah. All right, guys. Like I said, my name is Bryan Kemper. I run Stand True. Some of the t-shirts I threw out, the one I'm wearing, available at our booth in the expo. Make sure you guys go through the expo. Lots of good stuff in there. I was sitting with my son in Mass on Sunday, and one of the readings was about Samuel and Eli. Who went to Mass Sunday? So you guys remember that reading, right? Right? I hope so. You were paying attention. You weren't sleeping or napping. Anyway, I was thinking about this. I was thinking about the March for Life and the youth rally and all the young people that come to the March for Life. When I first started coming to the March for Life, in the early 90s, it was mostly old people. Now, God bless our old people. We love our pro-life grandmas, right? Yes. But now, it's a youth march, really. It really is a youth march. And I was thinking about young Samuel. Samuel was a youngster, okay? He was very young. And he was studying under Eli, the high priest. And when Samuel heard, come to me, he thought it was Eli calling him. And 3 different times, Samuel went, and Eli said, no, I didn't call you. Go back to bed. But then Eli realized it was the Lord speaking to Samuel. And he told him what to say. He said to say, listen, I'm listening. I'm here, Lord. And then Samuel heard the call of the Lord. And I was thinking about that, and I know in my life, when I was younger, I have not always been a Christian. In fact, I used to be a drug dealer. I used to be a Satanist. I was involved in a lot of evil stuff. I've been 30 years clean off being a meth addict. So, but there were a lot, when I first came to the Lord, there were a lot of Eli's in my life that told me to listen to God. And a lot of men and women who spoke up to me, men like Father Meyer here, who I'm sure teaches you guys in your parish to listen to God and say, God, what are you calling me to do? What are you having me do? And then my boss, where's Father Frank? Father Frank Pavona, Priest for Life, my boss over here, who, it's awesome because when I first came into the pro-life movement, you know, I had become a Christian, and I used to like think, who are all these Catholic people? Like, kind of freaked me out. I love that we have an ecumenical movement. I love that we all work together. But Father Frank used to sit down with me, and he didn't judge me. He didn't do anything. I had big mohawk, and I looked a lot more crazy than I look now. And he would just sit there and talk to me, and it was because of that 6 years ago I came home to the Catholic Church. So it's been awesome. But it was that love. It was that love. It was the doctor in the hospital when I overdosed at a Grateful Dead Bob Dylan concert in 1987. And I was so whacked out on LSD and crystal meth and all the stuff I took that day. And I'm in the hospital and I'm almost dead. And a doctor in a hospital says, I want to talk to you. He didn't come out and said, you're bad, you're a drug addict, you're evil, you're going to hell. He just looked at me and says, God loves you. He has more for you. You have value. No one in my life had ever told me I had value. But that doctor just loved me enough to risk his job, to take me outside, and to teach me about the love of God. And that saved my life. And I am so thankful for people to do that. And I'm so thankful for this movement that is about saving lives. See, we're not just about being angry about abortion. We're angry because our fellow human being, these little images of God, these little babies, they're image bearers of God, are being killed every day. And it's our love that's going to end it. It's our love that's going to save their lives. Because anybody that might be marching on the other side, anybody that might be there protesting against us, they're just as valuable as you and I. They're just as important as anybody in here. See, I think that's what the problem in this world today is. There's so many people just think they're better than other people. We're not better than anyone else. That's God's job. He created us all equal in his image. And we need to love every single person. And I'll tell you, in this movement, I think is where you find the most love. In these crisis pregnancy centers, in these homes for unwed mothers, in all of these places where you see the people standing up against the killing of innocent children. It's that love that saves lives. I've been doing pro-life activism for over 25 years. I have gone to jail for praying in front of abortion clinics. I've been to 49 states and 28 countries, spreading the message and spreading the word. I'm blessed beyond compare, absolutely blessed. In May, I get to do a 10-day speaking tour of New Zealand and Australia. And I'm so excited to go spread the message of love there in life. But there was a story I was thinking about when Jeannie told me the theme of love saves lives. It was a simple story about a friend of mine. And he called me. I was living in Wisconsin, in Madison, Wisconsin. I'm a diehard Packers fan. Yeah. And it was around Thanksgiving time. And my friend, his name is Jeff. He was a professor at Franciscan University of Steubenville a few years later. But my friend Jeff, he called me and said, Bryan, my brother, his girlfriend's pregnant, but she's going to have an abortion the day after Thanksgiving. This was the day before Thanksgiving. She's going to have an abortion. And he's like, will you and Matt and Will, my two roommates, will you come to Pittsburgh for Thanksgiving dinner at my house and then try to talk to her and her family? So we loaded up the car, drove through the night, got there, and on Thanksgiving Day we went first to her house. And we knocked on the door and we said, Mr., and I'm not going to say names, can we just talk to you? We want to talk to you about the beauty of your grandchild. And he just cursed at us and slammed the door. We found out what church she went to, so we went to her pastor's house and said, we want to talk to you about what's going on. This is the father of the child. And he wants to raise his child. And the pastor said, no, the best thing for her is abortion. A pastor. And we were just heartbroken. And we just wanted to love this woman enough to share with her that God loved her and that baby, and the father of that baby wanted to keep that baby. So we found out which abortion mill that she was going to go to the day after Thanksgiving in Pittsburgh. There was 2 big abortion mills. So we found out, and we got there about 2 hours before the abortion mill opened. And we took about a 5-block radius of Pittsburgh and around this abortion mill, and we just sidewalk chalked messages of love. I'll just make up a name, Michelle. And we said, Michelle, God loves you. Michelle, we love you. Michelle, we can help you. Please, Michelle. And we did 5 blocks. The Pittsburgh police and fire department showed up. They were waving billy clubs at us, screaming at us to stop chalking, threatening us. And we said, we have every right to do this. We have every right to do this. We know that a human being is scheduled to die today, and we have an opportunity to love them enough to stand up and be there for them. And so we did that, and then we got a phone call. We were at the wrong abortion mill. So we got in the car and we drove to the other abortion mill as fast as we can. And as we got there, we saw Michelle and her father walking towards, and so I stood in front of the door with my friend. And as we pleaded with him, and he grabbed me and threw me to the ground, the father, and shoved her in that abortion mill. And she ended up having that abortion. And we were crying, and we just thought we did everything we could. But then we got another phone call. And it was from the sidewalk counselor at the other abortion mill. There was another Michelle. And when she walked up and she saw that message, Michelle, God loves you, she broke down and she ran to the sidewalk counselor and she kept her baby. And a life was saved. You have to be willing when someone calls to say, yes, I'm listening. What can I do, Lord? What can I do? Now, tomorrow is the march. And tomorrow you're going to celebrate with 500,000 people that stand up for life. And I know people are going to be chanting, and you're going to listen to Plum. You guys know Plum's doing a signing at 4 o'clock right over here, by the way, if you want to meet them. But listen. The March for Life is an amazing once-a-year event that I go to every year, and I've been involved with the march, and I always will. But the most important message, the most important thing that you can take home is this is not a once-a-year thing. Babies are dying every day. And I'm begging you to go home, be like Samuel, and look to God and say, I'm listening, God. What are you going to do with your servant? Listen, guys, whoever's in this priest's parish, you are so blessed to have a man like this to speak into your lives. My parents weren't Christians. My parents gave me pornography and drugs. Nobody spoke into my life like that. Take this seriously. Take this seriously. And when you go to that march tomorrow, cry out to God. Stop and pray before you march and say, God, how can you use me for the rest of the year until the next march, or until we don't have a march because we bring an end to abortion. Amen. Amen. Thank you.
Very, very powerful testimony of Bryan, isn't it? And of course, he's a great asset to us here at Priests for Life. And like I said, he has such a passion to awaken the young generation. So if you're interested in booking Bryan to come to your school or your pregnancy center banquet or your pro-life banquet, or help lead a March for Life event in your town, just contact us at travels@priestsforlife.org. I know we're all stuck in for the quarantine right now, but pretty soon, in a few months, we're going to be gearing up in the fall for pro-life activities. And what better way than to get things going is to have Bryan Kemper come to your community and shake things up a little bit among the youth, right? Well, Bryan is extremely talented. I'm going to move my podium just slightly over here. And I want you to see beautiful, beautiful t-shirt I'm wearing. I'll kind of pull up here. It's our Blessed Mother, if you can see her. And it says, our mother chose life. And Bryan has designed, so many great t-shirts. And you can go to prolifeproducts.org where you would see the full collection of his t-shirts. But we're coming up to the month of May is happening soon, and this is the month that we dedicate to our Blessed Mother, of course. What better way than to walk around with this t-shirt? Our mother chose life. What a way of reflecting when you think about it. Our Blessed Mother, she was in a pretty much of an unexpected pregnancy, wasn't she? And so that's a great model, I think, for the young people to say, wow, if our mother chose life, that's how we had the unborn Jesus. That's why Jesus came to save us. And so if our mother chose life, why can't we? We have all the strength that is necessary to choose life. And of course, Bryan's t-shirts are great. He's got one that I know we just had Earth Day on April 22nd, and one of his t-shirts, it shows a tree, and it has an unborn baby pictured in the tree, and it says, "Pretend I'm a tree and save me." That's a great message, isn't it? And of course, his famous saying is, "Social justice begins in the womb," is another one of his phrases on the t-shirts. Another one is, "Let God plan parenthood," which is clever. And then, of course, there's the one that is for the young people, that we are the generation that will abolish abortion. And I truly believe that the young people are. You are the generation that is going to abolish abortion. I'm sure that's going to happen. Well, of course, when we talk about the youth, we talk about the fact that they're survivors. One of Bryan's t-shirts say, "I survived Roe v. Wade. Roe v. Wade will not survive me." And you think about it, any young person that was born after 1973 is a survivor. They've survived abortion because their parents chose to give them life. In my day and age, I was born in 1952, that wasn't even an issue. Got pregnant, had a baby. I mean, that's the way life was back then. But after 73, there was a law saying that, parents could choose. And so young people, they're like sibling survivors. And I wrote a great book. I'm going to reach for it now. It's called Shockwaves, Abortion's Widest Circle of Victims. And in this book, of course, I talk about at the epicenter, of course, every abortion is the death of that baby. And of course, who's affected? The mother and the father, obviously. Grandparents are affected by that abortion. But you don't think about the siblings of that aborted child. Very often in these abortion situations, that mom had that abortion when she was in high school or in college, felt she wasn't ready to become a mom. But then one day later on, she gets married and now has the family that she wants, supposedly, right? And she's pregnant and has a beautiful child. Well, guess what? That child has a sense that someone is missing. This has been studied in depth by many psychologists, but one in particular, Dr. Philip Ney, a Canadian psychiatrist, has studied this in depth about how the siblings are affected by prior abortions from their moms. So in this book, Shockwaves, Abortion's Widest Circle of Victims, I go into this whole fact about, the chapter is called Missing from the Family Portrait. But I delve into all the different people groups that are affected by abortion. And I'd like to send that to you as a gift. And just simply contact us at orders@priestforlife.org. Ask for the Shockwaves book, where you can learn more about all the different groups that are affected by abortion, how to bring them to healing, and of course, how to bring an end to abortion. And again, I want to remind you, invite Bryan, to come to your town. Now's the time to start that trip planning. Send us an email at travels@priestforlife.org. Again, travels@priestforlife.org. Our staff is standing on by, even though they're working from home, they are working, and they can help you. Just send an email if you want to just inquire. How does this work to bring Bryan to our community? Maybe you're planning a youth activity, or some of you might be teachers who teach a confirmation class, and you want Bryan to come in and talk to the youth. He is ready, willing, and able to come and speak to the children. And as you saw from his testimony, Bryan has a real heart for this issue, and he also knows how to speak to young people. So again, send us an email at travels@priestforlife.org. And of course, always following this segment with me is the Catholic View for Women. So if you're tuning in, we follow it about 4 p.m. Eastern Time, and it repeats again this evening at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Another episode of the Catholic View for Women. We have a website you can go to, thecatholicviewforwomen.com. But you're looking at the website, scroll to your right. Prior seasons are listed there. We're now starting in season 3, and you can find there the homework, because at every show, being a former teacher, I give you homework. So it's a great way now, like I said, while you're stuck at home, to delve deeper into our Catholic teaching and some of our beautiful documents of the church. So again, thecatholicviewforwomen.com is our website. Also, too, like us on Facebook and spread the word. So thank you for joining me for this segment, and stay tuned now for the Catholic View for Women.